What does it take to be the first out lesbian activist in the world? Hi there, I'm Chris with a K, and welcome back to This Week in Queer History, where we celebrate queer moments and icons that I wish I had known about as a young gay kid growing up in conservative America. This week, we're diving into the bold life of Anna Rüling, who in 1904 became the first known lesbian to give a political speech demanding justice, dignity, and visibility for lesbians. Let's get into it.
This week in queer history, stories told with love and glee.
Anna Rüling was born in Hamburg, Germany in 1880, and just 24 years later, she would stand before an audience in Berlin and declare, "I am a homosexual woman and we matter." She didn't just speak up for herself, she spoke up for every queer woman who felt invisible. In her speech, which she delivered at a conference organized by Magnus Hirschfeld's Scientific Humanitarian Committee, Rüling called on the women's movement to embrace lesbian rights, insisting that lesbians had contributed significantly to the cause of women's equality and that lesbians deserve recognition and justice. It was a radical stance in an era when even acknowledging homosexuality risked careers and safety. She argued that homosexual women formed a third gender, often more rational and determined, qualities that she believed made lesbians well suited for professional life and activism. But it wasn't just her ideas that were radical. It was the courage to speak them out loud in a world with no rainbow flags or pride marches, only the threat of social condemnation. At the time, the Scientific Humanitarian Committee was fighting to repeal paragraph 175, which was Germany's anti-sodomy law, and they wanted to prove that homosexuality was not a crime or a disease, but a natural part of human diversity. It was a moment when people like Albert Einstein and Thomas Mann were signing petitions for queer rights, even as society continued to resist change. Rüling's call for joint action within feminism faced pushback. Many leaders in the women's movement didn't want to be associated with the homosexual problem. They feared that it would damage their cause. But Rüling understood that true liberation leaves no one behind. Her life continued to be complex. She moved to Dusseldorf, worked as a journalist, and remained active in theater, even during the turbulence of World War I and the rise of Nazism. But she refused to hide who she was. She lived her truth until her death in 1953, leaving behind a legacy that still inspires queer activism today. While the Nazis destroyed the Scientific Humanitarian Committee, the seeds that it and Anna planted continue to grow, forming the roots of today's LGBTQ rights movement. Her insistence on visibility and truth-telling is something that we need now more than ever, as we face book bans, anti-trans laws, and attempts to silence queer stories. Anna's story reminds me that telling our stories is an act of resistance. Her bravery shows us the power of showing up and speaking out even when the world isn't ready for it. When I think about Anna and how much courage it must have taken for her to stand up in front of that room in 1904, knowing that she would lose everything, but she still chose to speak so that others would know that they were not alone. She fought to ensure that a future generation would have the rights to exist, to love, and to speak openly. And here we are, more than a century later, we're still fighting many of the same battles. We're seeing queer communities targeted and used as scapegoats by politicians, just as they were in Anna's time. But if Anna could show up and speak out, so can we. And every time that we tell our stories, teach our history, and gather in community, we honor her courage. Rights aren't handed to us, they're fought for again and again, and each act of showing up makes it easier for the next generation to live openly and proudly. We can't let fear push us back into hiding. We owe it to ourselves, to Anna, and to the queer kids searching for some sign that it's okay to be exactly who they are. So let's keep showing up. Let's keep telling our stories, and let's keep loving out loud. That's how change happens. And it's how we carry Anna Rüling's bravery into today's fight and tomorrow's hope. Thanks for joining me as we learn about Anna Rüling. Let me know in the comments what you think about her and her bravery and what it means for you today. Check out the video popping up right over here for more queer history. And if you want to discover the LGBTQ icons and uplifting moments that happened on your birthday, check out myqueerbirthday.com. Link is down in the description. Until next time, stay strong, stay bold, and keep making history.